episode number 45 of Winning the Division, where you are either in the division or you are winning the division, as we are about 90 days from kickoff of the regular season. So hard to believe that the season's still 3 months away, but the countdown's already under 100 days. My name is Ryan Smith, and I am your co-host alongside former NFL tight end and University of Florida tight end Ben Troupe. Ben played for the Titans, for the Bucks, for the Raiders. For those of you who may not remember every stop that Ben was on besides his wonderful Titans teams that he was on. But Ben, before we get started, as I normally do, you can find us audio version on the Keep Pounding Podcast Network, where we are powered by Fans First Sports Network. Keep Pounding brings you the latest news and analysis and interviews from top players, announcers, studio leads, and more. Rate, review, and subscribe to your favorite podcast platform, and subscribe to our video content here at youtube.com/Tobacco Road Sports Radio. And for our friends at 1-800-Flowers.com, if you are still searching for Father's Day, that is coming up here next Sunday. There's Sunday currently coming up. You can go to 1-800-Flowers.com, put in the code 299-7001 for a discount off your great gifts for those superstar dads out there. If you have a graduate that's graduating, that's another one they're offering right now. Class of 2025 with gifts to recognize all their hard work. Get starting at just $15. 1-800-Flowers.com. Our friends, you can put in that promo code 287-5612. Those codes for those and more at our friends at 1-800-Flowers.com. Ben, it is mini camp time, second week of the mini camps, but we'll get there. First thing we always do is first things first. And I'm going to start with Jaire Alexander getting a cut from the Green Bay Packers after the contract impasse. A lot of people think my Panthers should be going after him since he's a Charlotte native. I've got some thoughts on that, but what are your thoughts on the contract impasse ultimately getting Jaire Alexander cut from Green Bay?
I think it's a part of the league. I think it's a part of the business. Jaire Alexander, incredible player. I think two-time second-team All-Pro since he got drafted back in 2018. One of the premier cornerbacks when he's healthy. So I'm going to say top 5. Top 10 definitely when he's healthy. But you can't make the club in the tub. Jaire Alexander, you haven't seen him in a while. Been on the side of a milk carton because he's been hurt. The last 2 years, I want to say he might have played in 7 games in 2 years. Yeah. Here's the thing. If you've ever, seeing Jaire Alexander play, he's a big-time player. He's also very outspoken. He also does not bite his tongue. I remember this is the same Jaire Alexander who I think was hurt and still walked out on the field as a captain when they played Carolina, and his coach didn't even know he was doing that. And he was like, hey, man, I'm from the crib. It's like sometimes you just outgrow a situation. Sometimes it's time to move on. The general manager, or I want to say the president of Green Bay, was really, really complimentary of Jaire Alexander, saying, look, we appreciate his contribution. We are a much better team. We are much better now than when he first got here. We appreciate everything he's done. But, hey, when we playing you this much, I want to say Jaire Alexander at one point was the highest paid cornerback in the league. When you talk about
I think you're right.
Money per year. And now, still in his early, late 20s, still got some football left in him. Yep. But it's because the money has to equal the production, and it definitely has to equal time spent on the field. The production can't be there if you ain't on the field, so they got to move on, and they did it. And they say he was actually getting ready to come to training camp, even though he missed all the voluntary stuff. He was going to come to mini camp, but hey, now he can go out there and seek a team, hopefully be on the team by training camp.
You are right. He had 2 years remaining on the 4-year, $84 million contract extension that made him the highest paid corner in the NFL at the time. Packers will pick up more than $17 million in salary cap space for this season. Played in just 34 of 68 games since the start of 2021, wow. A year in which he appeared in only 4 games because of a shoulder injury. And so he's scheduled to make $17.5 million this season, but none of that was guaranteed. So he has, in 7 seasons, including the playoffs, 15 interceptions for the Green Bay Packers. Let's move on to Drake May. He said he's building something special in New England, starting to find his stride in the new offense.
I saw that, and I'm happy for the young man. I mean, when you think about the quarterback position is the most important position. I mean, I know he's going to have guys like Collins. I mean, if Stephon Diggs can, do more on the field and less, going viral on boats. I mean, Drake May is a guy that they're going to put. Drake May is a guy they really, really feel good about. You like the fact that he's saying all the right things. I mean, it seems like Mike Vrabel is not putting a muzzle on the young man. Let them just be his own person, say the things that he needs to say to feel comfortable. But right now, Smitty, it don't mean much. Nope. Going up against the same people every single day. A lot of things are scripted. You cannot get hit in practice. They can't touch you in practice. But if he's saying, look, he's finding his stride, that's what you want to hear. But when them live bullets get to firing at you, we'll see come week one. But all things are pointing in the right direction in Foxborough.
We have got punter news. Logan Cook made the league's highest punter by the Jacksonville Jaguars down there in Duval.
Logan definitely gonna earn his money. Trevor Lawrence still the quarterback down in Jacksonville. Check. They got a brand new coach in Liam Cohen. Check. They got the youngest GM. Check. I know that Travis Hunter is going to be asked to do, be everything. I know he spent time at, receiver and cornerback. But Logan, congratulations to you, sir. I mean, I always appreciate guys like Logan, the punters who, no one cares about field position until a guy like Logan comes into the game. So listen, man, you can literally flip the field. Highest paid cornerback, no state tax. Congratulations to that man.
And then let's keep it going as I lost my place in the shuffle here. Colts formalized the transition to Jim Irsay. Rest in peace, Jim, who died a few weeks ago now. His three daughters each given the role of CEO and owner, but his eldest daughter, Carly Irsay Gordon, will assume the main role of the owner and CEO. But all three daughters will have a Casey Foyt, his other daughter, owner and executive vice president, and then youngest sister, Kaylin Jackson, will be owner and chief brand officer. Jackson will also be president of the Indianapolis Colts Foundation. So just thoughts on the transition from Jim Irsay's ownership to his daughters.
Congratulations to those young ladies. Obviously, this is a very, very traumatic time in their life, losing their father, but he's definitely has prepared them for this moment. And you talk about of epic proportion. I know we got the Jones family with Stephen Jones being the president. I've never seen, three young ladies as young as they are. I don't know how young they are, but I'm pretty sure they're probably very young, being able to step into a role like this. And I know they're gonna make some mistakes. I mean, they're gonna have to find what works best for them. But we are rooting for them. And like I said, Irsay, may our hearts and prayers go out to his daughters. To the rest of his family, and dare I say, it's a new beginning. The one thing his daughters are not going to have to worry about is trying to turn Indianapolis into a football town. They have literally done that, and now they get to carry on their father's legacy by cementing their legacy as the first sisters. I mean, that I can remember. They're not the first young ladies to be able to inherit something like this, but we are wishing them the best, man, and we hoping that. They're going to have a lot of people within that organization definitely trying to help make their transition a very, 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 very easy one and hopefully a productive one.
A couple of news on the Cincinnati Bengals before we get to our two main topics that we'll explore a little more. Bengals released starting linebacker Jermaine Pratt, who was from NC State, third-round pick. He has started 88 of 96 games for the Bengals, the longest tenured Bengal on the roster besides Drew Sample, tight end, only members of 2019 draft class. He was set to enter the final year of a 3-year contract extension he signed in 2023, and currently 29 years old, starter of each of the past 6 years, instrumental in the back-to-back AFC North titles and AFC Championship appearances back in 2021 and 2022.
So Sam Hubbard decides to retire. Henderson is still, I think, trying to deal with his contract situation. Now you're leading tackler, for the last, 5-6 years of being released. There's something going on in Cincinnati, and I don't know why it's going on that way. There's something up with this defense. I mean, they can't keep it. Sam Hubbard wants to move on. Henderson can't get his money. Now your leading tackler is trying to move on, or your longest tenured guy. Hopefully it'll come out as to why he got released. I understand these type of things happen. Maybe he wanted more money. Maybe they was like, well, listen, we ain't in a position to give you more money, but hey, man, hopefully he'll speak. He's 29 years old.
Yeah, it sounds like it might be a cap thing based on they're opening up about $6 million in savings, but $6 million is it's not a lot. I mean, it is a
yeah,
little,
they penny pinching right now, but that's what happens when Hendrickson want the money that he want.
right.
I mean, 35 sacks in 2. I mean, 35 sacks in 2 years ain't nothing. You know, I mean that's elite company, but the Hendrickson one is the most puzzling one because you got a guy that led the league in sacks the last 2 years, and you don't want to give him his money. And now Sam Hubbard said, "Hey man, I can't deal with this defense anymore. I want to move on for football." Now my starting middle linebacker is getting cut. But they did re-sign T. Higgins. They did re-sign Jamar Chase. Problem is, they catch footballs. They don't chase quarterbacks. So we'll see what happens with Cincinnati.
Yeah, and my Panthers, your Falcons could easily use Tremaine Pratt. And both of our teams could use him very much.
Yeah, anybody can use a guy that's led their league and led their team in tackles the last 5 or 6 years. Has been to the postseason, have been to a Super Bowl, have been to an AFC Championship game, and now I just want to be appreciated. If I could be a productive player for a team like Cincinnati, I definitely could be productive for a team like Carolina, who's going to be in the mix, and a team like Atlanta they're trying to stay in the mix. And that I think is going to be a very, very competitive NFC South.
And then Pac-Man Jones, formerly of the Cincinnati Bengals, Tennessee Titans, among other teams, arrested in Cincinnati, near Cincinnati, early on last Saturday morning. Currently 41 years old, arrested with alcohol intoxication in a public place, disorderly conduct, and assault of a police officer. Or probation officer. So a lot of legal stuff in here as well. But 6th overall pick from the Bengals back in 2005, 12 seasons in the NFL, 2005 to 2018, 8 of those seasons with the Bengals, where he was an all-pro kick returner in 2014 and made the 2015 Pro Bowl.
Pac-Man Jones is the guy, man, that I'm always rooting for. I got drafted in 2004. Pac-Man got drafted in 2005 out of West Virginia. Pac-Man is a guy that if you've ever known him or met him before, he's very, very, very outspoken. Atlanta native. And we don't know the details. I know he does a podcast, and I think he's back on his podcast saying, look, he didn't do the things they said that he did, that they alleged that he did. Trouble seems to find Pac-Man. Adam Pac-Man Jones. I'm praying for you, Pac, and I'm happy at what you're doing now. For people who don't know, Chris Henry, a guy that died tragically, while he was with the Cincinnati Bengals, him and Pac-Man Jones are best friends at West Virginia. Pac-Man literally raised Chris Henry's sons, and one of them I think is going to college right now. So Pac-Man is an incredible dude. It just when trouble happens, man, it seems to be find him. Hopefully, it'll end up being misdemeanors or thrown out. But come on, Pac-Man. I mean, you're in your early 40s now, man. We gotta make decisions, and sometimes we gotta bite our tongue and walk away. I get it, ego and alcohol do not mix, but we gotta find a way to walk away, man. We represent too many things. You're a husband, you're a father, you're an ambassador. Come on, man. We gotta find a way to let that little stuff be little stuff.
All right, and then the two biggest headlines that we will talk a little bit more about, so you can just give a very brush over, and then we'll kind of go into these two topics a little bit more here. Nick Chubb, formerly of the Cleveland Browns, signs with the Houston Texans. Browns paying tribute. And then Aaron Rodgers finally signs with the Pittsburgh Steelers, the worst kept secret in the league, $13 million plus on a 1-year deal.
Nick Chubb, congratulations, sir. I know he dealt with a lot of injuries when he was over there with Cleveland. When you were healthy, one of the best running backs in the league. You talk about like a back, Joe Milton, Nick Chubb, if he's healthy. I think he definitely made that offense a lot better. Aaron Rodgers, to me, is becoming more and more of a diva every day. He just is. And you knew you were going to sign with Pittsburgh. What are you waiting on? What, you had to film another special or something? You were doing something? Because I would say this.
Supposedly he talked to the
I would say this.
He wanted to make sure those doors were shut before he, signed them.
Yeah. Smith. I never thought that Mike Tomlin would never ever be confused. Mike Tomlin is a future Hall of Fame coach and never had a losing season. I think he's going into year 19 or something like that with the Steelers. But the fact that he has not been able to find a quarterback since Ben Roethlisberger retired is puzzling. You just haven't. You just have not been able. Mason Rudolph, Kenny Pickett, Russell Wilson. Now you talking about Aaron Rodgers. And I don't want to hear one more person talking about Aaron Rodgers, one of the greatest throwers of the field. Who cares? Who is he now? And I said it before the show. I'm going to say it now. For everybody talking about this a young man's league, they must not be talking about the quarterback. Aaron Rodgers is a year younger than me. We 80s babies, early 80s babies. Then you talk about Russell Wilson. Now Matthew Stafford is still productive, but he ain't no spring chicken either. Then Joe Flacco's down there in Cleveland. I mean, we'll see what happens with Pittsburgh. For everybody thinking that he's going to have a resurrection, it's not going to happen. Are they going to beat Baltimore? No. But they're not beating Baltimore. Are they going to be in the dogfight with Cincinnati? Probably. You know who you feel bad for? TJ Watt. All that talent, all that ability.
Cam Hayward,
Minka Fitzpatrick. You got some players. And DK Metcalf. Boy, Porter Jr. Listen, Joey Porter Jr., get ready to fight a lot. Eat your Wheaties, because that's a freaking mutant, freaking action hero over there, over there wearing receiver. But hey, man, he's going to be in the black and gold. Everybody going to say all the right things. Aaron Rodgers is a freaking diva. I don't care what no one says. It didn't work out with the Jets. It ain't going to work out with Pittsburgh. And this time in the offseason next year, we're going to be talking about, it used to be where's Waldo, now it's where's Aaron. We'll see.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was first things first. We'll start back with our first big story is Nick Chubb tonight, signing with that 1 year, $2.5 million with the Houston Texans. And as I said, formerly of the Cleveland Browns, that he now joins Joe Mixon, Dameon Pierce, Dare Ugabole, and fourth-round pick Woody Marks out of USC. Chubb, second-round pick from Georgia back in 2018, ended up third on the Browns' career rushing list after spending 7 years in Cleveland. And in 8 games last year, just 332 yards, recorded lows in yards per attempt, 3.3, in percentage of carries. They gained at least 10 yards, 4.9. Houston obviously been with this move. Like you said, Joe Mixon, who had over 1,000 yards last year, 11 touchdowns, and around to a 2024 Pro Bowl selection, hopes with him and then a pre-injury Nick Chubb, this could be a pretty nice 1-2 duo in Houston. And then I'll kind of give you a little the stage here as we get into the Houston Texans with CJ Stroud. The throwing shoulder is also not good news for CJ Stroud. I don't care what the team says. I don't care how much they talk about it. That is not good news for CJ Stroud. So let's make the Texans our first big story here of the night, mainly talking about Nick Chubb, but then also touching on CJ Stroud and his shoulder injury. I mean, I'll speak from it. Cam here in Carolina had the shoulder injury after TJ Watt, that injury back in 2018. He was never the same after that. I don't care what the Panthers say. I don't care what Cam says publicly. He was never the same after that TJ Watt shoulder injury. And when how old is Stroud? 24, 23, something like that. If a 24-year-old quarterback is saying his shoulders is sore, that is not good. I don't care what the team says. I don't care what the team tries. We're going to shut it down. It'll be fine come training camp. He might be fine. But that's a big deal. There's nothing it is very unassuring to Houston Texan fans in Houston, especially after Stroud's sophomore slump last year after posting the numbers he did in his rookie season. And then Bobby Slowick, the offensive coordinator who helped him with that, got fired this offseason. And now they bring in Nick Staley, formerly the tight ends coach at the LA Rams, who has never called plays before. Yes, he learned the Shanahan scheme from Sean McVay, but he's never called plays before. And my pick for the South is still Houston, but I'm feeling less and less good about it by the day.
Yeah, the Nick Chubb signing is a great signing because if Nick Chubb is healthy, I think he provides a 1-2 punch. And earlier I said Joe Milton is Joe Mixon. Joe Milton,
yeah,
is a quarterback, formerly of the Tennessee Vols. But Now I think with the Dallas Cowboys, if I'm
Correct.
not
Yep.
mistaken.
Backed up Drake May and then Trey.
Yeah. Joe. I mean, the thing about Nick Chubb is it's always been injuries. You go all the way back to Georgia.
Oh,
I mean, he had an injury. I mean, it's always been injuries for him, and he's always been able to overcome them. But the story is what you're saying, Smitty. Whenever teams, quarterbacks, coordinator try to downplay shoulder injuries of quarterbacks, that's not good because it's always worse than what they're actually saying. They're saying what it is. They're not saying fully what it is. And here's the thing, Smitty. That means it's been nagging. We don't even know how far back this shoulder injury goes. And what's the likelihood of you re-injuring or re-aggravating a shoulder injury at a quarterback? 100%.
Look at Anthony Richardson right now in Indianapolis.
Yes. And the thing about it is this. The greatest thing a quarterback has for his team, whether it's Pop Warner, high school, middle school, college, or pro, is availability. You got to be there. And if you're not there, I don't care what you could have done, would have done, should have done. Are you there for week 1? Are you there for week 18? And I know it's 17 games, but you have an off week. And for CJ Stroud, you can't just be there. You got to play well. Because like you said, Smitty, you were a good team in a bad division in 2024. That AFC South was bad, top to bottom, and y'all were a good team that obviously could have went to Kansas City and won. If you are Houston, you're saying to yourself, number one, we got to keep it under wraps, D'Amico Ryan and company. But now I got an offensive coordinator that never called plays. Let me tell you something about learning things under Sean McVay or Kyle Shanahan or John Gruden. These guys know what they're doing because this is all they do. Learning tendencies and when to call and how to – and I get it. Everybody gets an opportunity. I'm never ever downplaying somebody's opportunity, how they got the opportunity. But it was really, really crazy when they got rid of the offensive coordinator. They needed somebody. Let me say it. You need a scapegoat. It ain't gonna be D'Amico. It ain't gonna be CJ. It ain't gonna be it's gonna be the OC. Okay, because guess what? That's what could come back to haunt you. Because the one thing that when you get to talk about good teams and what they have in common, they have a good coach, they have a good quarterback, they have a good head coach, they have a good team, they have good continuity, right? With the OC and the quarterback. You can't have good continuity if they switching them up just because, oh my God, you lost to Kansas City. Most teams do that unless you play for, the guys in Philly. So, yeah, Smitty, I'm like you. I think it's worse than what they're saying. I think it's a lot worse than what they're saying. But in the world of viral video and everything getting out and leaking, we have to do all they can in Houston to keep it as low-key as possible. But something you said, too, Anthony Richardson being hurt in Indy, Daniel Jones was looking from afar saying, he's injury prone. He hasn't made the jump. He's super duper athletic. Athleticism can only get you so far in the NFL. I'm going to take my chances down there with Indy the potential to be the starter come week 1. We'll see.
Yeah. And then before we switch over to Aaron Rodgers, is there anything specifically for Nick Chubb that you wanted to kind of go a little bit more into detail on him? Like, do you expect what do you expect out of Nick Chubb in 2025 with this signing, him and Joe Mixon in the backfield together?
I expect him to be productive because I think his days of being the bell cow are over. I think him being the start. Now, you get a guy like Nick Chubb just in case that Joe Mixon has a nick or two and he has to jump in a couple of games to start. But the thing about Nick Chubb is a lot of tread on them tires going all the way back to Georgia.
Yes.
So now you're telling Nick, hey, listen, we appreciate you signing. You're here for your veteran leadership. We here for your work ethic. I mean, you're a great teammate. We've never heard anything bad all the way from Georgia to Cleveland. But you'll be 30 years old this year.
Yes.
This is your third or fourth major injury, in the league. In 7 years, you've been incredibly productive, but you've also been hurt a lot. So it's once again, we need you when the games are starting to get ugly and ain't nobody really trying to catch the ball and we want to run the ball. We need you on third and short, first and goal. Just we know you know how to run the rock. So I think it's a great signing. Because I don't think Nick Chubb mind being a mentor, not to Joe Mixon, but maybe to a younger back that they drafted or a young guy. And if it works out, Smitty, I think it's going to be one of the best pickups of the offseason because you're talking about an AFC South that's Houston's to lose. even though people are going to try to put some pressure on him, not Tennessee. But I think that Nick Chubb is a great signing, and it shows too that he still can be productive. I think he's like a year younger than Joe Mixon, and I think him and Joe Mixon will be a nice compliment because once again, why are they signing big time running backs? Oh, they might be trying to run the ball more in 2025 because they're saying, well, CJ, I'm just saying, Smitty, I'm just saying, we're not breaking no news here, but listen, I believe, I don't got no source, I ain't talked to Adam Schefter, I ain't talked to nobody. I think CJ Stroud is hurt worse than they're letting on. And as we get close, training camp, no one cares. Training camp, it might come out. Before the regular season starts, I want to see if CJ Stroud is on that injury report because you have to report all injuries, not just the ones you want to report. We will see. We will see.
Yeah. Well, we all know you have the sources, man. We all know you could talk to Adam Schefter if you wanted to. But
I can rile him up. If I get Adam Schefter to respond to me, he gonna open. I say hey man, you didn't awaken a monster now. Don't respond to me, Adam. Because I'm going to be coming at you for all kind of insider stuff. I'm just saying.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into Aaron Rodgers a little bit. The Enigma himself, formerly of Green Bay, formerly of the New York Jets. So is this not just hilarious that he gets to start against the New York Jets? Again, the Pittsburgh Steelers and the New York Jets in week 1. And, who's that starting quarterback again for the Jets? Oh, that would be Justin Fields, who was with the Steelers last year. And Aaron Rodgers is now with the Steelers. And I'll let you go here, Ben. I don't see this. I really don't. I don't know. I'm with you. I feel for TJ Watt. I feel for Cam Hayward. I feel for DK Metcalf in a way. The Steelers are fighting for 7 and 10. They're fighting for 8 and 9. It's okay, maybe 9 and 8, maybe. But in the AFC, that ain't getting me in the playoffs. Nope. So okay, let's say 9 and 8. I'll be generous. Let's say they get to 9 and 8. That's not getting into the playoffs. But hey, congratulations, another winning season for Mike Tomlin and the boys in the Steel City. Ben, here's my question. You are a former player in the NFL, and I realize the games were 16 when you played, not 17, but, it's still the same concept. I think we've talked about this before, and if we have not, I'm going to unload this on you. What do you do when you're a fan base? And I'm going to bring something up a little later on the podcast, but I'll share now the listeners to prove my point. The Steelers have had 4 coaches in the history of their franchise. The last 2 being Bill Cowher and Mike Tomlin.
They had 3.
3, sorry. Yeah, you're right. Well, I'm including interims. That might be why might be why I'm saying 4.
You're right. Yeah.
So including interims. Mike Tomlin won a Super Bowl. Bill Cowher won a Super Bowl. But it's been a long time since they won.
And guess who he lost the Super Bowl to?
That would be to Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. And how many Super Bowls will Aaron Rodgers have?
1.
Okay. I'm just making sure we get the numbers right.
Yeah. And it has been a long time since the Steelers have won a playoff game. So okay, hold on. Rudy family. You say it's championships or bust in Pittsburgh. That is the goal. It is not making the playoffs. It is not, obviously falling short of the playoffs. No one team obviously wants to do that. And it's not getting to the playoffs. It's not even winning a playoff game. You said it's Pittsburgh. It's championship or bust. I'm sorry. This is a Band-Aid on a gushing wound. Yes. This is all that is. And the Pittsburgh fans know this. The public knows this. NFL fans, I think the Rooney family knows this. But they don't want to have a losing season under Mike Tomlin. They don't want to bottom out. That's not in their DNA. That's not what they want to do. They are fine going 9 and 8, 10 and 6, 11 and 5, because that gets them to the playoffs every year, and they pick 18, 19, 20, 21 in the draft. They're never going to pick top 10 unless they bottom out. So, Ben, I'm sorry for the soliloquy. My question is, what do you do if you are the Rooney family? Like, Mike Tomlin is really well respected, and this reminds me of Andy Reid in Philadelphia. It was just time. Andy Reid going from the Eagles to another job, which happened to be the Chiefs. We didn't know that at the time. The Eagles were not saying Andy Reid sucked. They were not saying that. They were just saying it was time. It ran its course. The relationship was it was done. They thanked him for what he did, but they decided it was time to move on. This is smelling like Andy Reid in Philadelphia. I think Mike Tomlin could go somewhere else and do really well. But this is smelling like Andy Reid in Philadelphia, and then Andy Reid obviously still doing his thing in Kansas City now. And now has been on the Chiefs longer than he was on the Eagles. But, anyway. So, thoughts on Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh. What do you think this is going to mean for their season? Do you think now, personally, I don't think this is Mike Tomlin's season in Pittsburgh last season, only because he just signed that new contract. And the Rooney family does not like paying money for coaches to sit at home. They are very old school. They don't like to do that. So, in my opinion, I do not think Mike Tomlin is done in Pittsburgh after this year, playoffs or not. I do not think that's the case. I think he will be there for at least the next few years. But anyway, your thoughts?
It's one of the biggest head scratches because Mike Tomlin, to me, is in search of a veteran quarterback. I'm gonna give you the quarterbacks since Ben Roethlisberger. So Ben Roethlisberger was there was 2004 to 2001. Bill Cowher was actually drafted Ben Roethlisberger. Then Correct. They went to Mike Tomlin.
Yep.
Since Ben Roethlisberger, they had Landry Jones. He was a backup. Michael Vick, Mitch Trubisky, Kenny Pickett, Mason Rudolph, Justin Fields, Russell Wilson. They drafted Will Howard. They got Will Howard out of Ohio State. And now they got Aaron Rodgers. Smitty, you make some great points. Here's the one point you didn't say. Mike Tomlin is desperate. Mike Tomlin just wants to win a playoff game. You know why? Because it's been a long time since he won a playoff game. It's a long playoff drought. It's been a long time since he won a Super Bowl. And the last time he'd been to a Super Bowl, he lost to Aaron Rodgers. I don't get this move. You know why? So many quarterbacks you could have picked. So many other guys you could have went out there. Because here's the thing, right? You really want to rent Aaron Rodgers for a year? Or you waiting? Are you gonna? Because if you go 7-10, right? If you go 8-9 or 10-7, now you're picking 15, 16. You're not picking in the top 10, which means the quarterback you want in the 2026 draft you won't even get. And you've proven Mike Tomlin will never ever be confused as not being a Hall of Fame coach. But when it comes to picking quarterbacks, he stinks at it. He is not good at it. He's not good at all. At all. Because you got Russell Wilson and Justin Fields in 2024. You let go of both of them. Like, both guys? Yeah, we're going to bring Russell in to be the starter so Justin can learn what it's like to play behind a veteran quarterback. Well, Justin goes out the first 4 games of the year. I think he has you 3-1, and you move on to Russell Wilson just to cut him at the end of the year. And now he's over there in New York, and both of them in New York. One with the Jets, one with the Giants. This Aaron Rodgers thing, to me, is the reason why Aaron Rodgers thinks the way he thinks. I was told that the NFL don't wait on nobody. I was told that the NFL will move on from you. I was told that Father Time is undefeated. Here comes Aaron Rodgers. But here's the thing, Smitty. What is he really going to do? Is he going to bring the locker room together? No. Is he going to help build the culture? No. Is he going to be a great teammate? No. He's going to talk because people are going to listen, and he ain't going to live up to none of it. And I don't want to hear – look, is Aaron Rodgers going to make some crazy throws to make us go, whoa, that's crazy? Yeah, he's an NFL quarterback. But why is it we can judge everybody else on their merit and what they have or haven't done and act like we didn't see Aaron Rodgers? We saw Aaron Rodgers we saw him in 2024. That was embarrassing. Got his buddy back, Devontae Adams. He's back out. I don't get it because of who it is, not because it's Aaron Rodgers. I'm like, when did Pittsburgh start doing this? You're not going to draft a quarter, which means Will Howard. I know you thought you had a legitimate shot, right? We drafted you. You know what I'm saying? No. We don't care. We want Aaron Rodgers. But here's the thing, though, Smitty. Not that Mike Tomlin cares, but is he really trying to keep his never had a losing record unblemished? Because they're not winning that division. They're not.
I mean, even if Joe Burrow has a down, even if Joe Burrow and the Bengals are down, you still got Lamar, you still got Derrick Henry, you still got
hold on. Let me tell you what Mike Tomlin ain't factoring in. You better hope you beat Cleveland because you lost to Jameis Winston in 2024. So if you get Aaron Rodgers, which he signed, y'all finish fourth in the division. But just say you finish third, right above the Browns, right below Cincinnati and Baltimore. What was all this for? Like, seriously, what was all this for? People say, well, Russell Wilson's over there with the Giants. He's there to mentor Jackson Dart. That's what he's there to do. And if Russell Wilson don't know that, he needs to know that, right? Kirk Cousins made so much money, they can't even let him go in Atlanta. They can't even let him go because you gave him like $100 million in 2024. Geno Smith is actually going to be the starter, right, with the Raiders. I just think that when I saw this, Smitty, it lets me know these coaches just be talking, man. All this, man, protect the shield. The Pittsburgh Steelers are one of the classiest organizations, not just in football, but in sport. And this is the circus. This is the circus. This is like, it would be like if Brian Schottenheimer, the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, said something like, Dak Prescott is a developmental quarterback. Wait a minute. He did say that. Anyway, I ain't gonna, Smitty, I'm like you when the Aaron Rodgers thing came. When they first started saying, I go, that ain't real, man. It's Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh. For what? For what? For who? For what? But he's a Steeler. Smitty, so the question is that you always ask, two things. Was it worth it? And does he make them better? And to me, I go no and absolutely not because I've seen him. I saw him. I saw that. Yes, he got a freaking action hero out there receiving DK Metcalf. He got Pat Freiermuth, at tight end. Aaron Rodgers is highly respected, not just from players, but from coaches. But Mike Tomlin just solidified Aaron Rodgers in some hierarchy of, hey, man, I just respect what he does and what he tries to do. And this, what he does and what he tries to do. Aaron Rodgers has been to one Super Bowl, man.
Yeah.
Aaron, listen, not regular season. Aaron Rodgers has the same success in the postseason as Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco won a Super Bowl and he started. Oh, shoot. What team? Why is Joe Flacco not in Baltimore anymore? Because of Lamar, who's the best quarterback in that league, in that division, and followed by Joe Burrow, who was a very, very close second. And then you got Aaron Rodgers. You know why Aaron Rodgers is third? Because of the Browns. And everybody gonna have better quarterback playing the Browns. I don't know, Smitty. It just gets on my nerves because it's Aaron Rodgers can have the ego that he wants. He can be as, I don't know, self-centered as he wants. However, but we validate this stuff when this kind of stuff happens. You know who he learned from? What's that other quarterback that played for Green Bay? He did this too. Brett Favre did this. Remember, he was threatening to retire. Oh, now he's going to the Jets. Threatening to retire. Oh, now he's with Minnesota. The difference was Brett Favre was still playing highly productive football. He just kept, he still had his old way throwing the ball back across the field. Because they was in the NFC Championship game. You know who they lost to? Who ended up winning the Super Bowl that year? That would be the Saints. That's the year the Saints went to the Super Bowl and won with Drew Brees. Is Aaron Rodgers even making the playoffs? No. Is Aaron Rodgers going to be competing for AFC Championship? No. And people say he might be up for comeback player of the year. Well, he don't got to do much. I mean, for what he did last year, man.
Speaking of comeback player of the year, real quickly, I saw this. Shout out to Peter Schrager, formerly of Fox, now at ESPN. He thinks Daniel Jones is in line to be comeback player of the year. And now, Schrager probably did that for guys like us to talk about it. But thoughts on Daniel Jones potentially being comeback player of the year? Really quick. You can just say like 5 seconds. That's fine.
No. I like that. I'm going to tell you why. Daniel Jones don't think he's better than Anthony Richardson. He think he's a better quarterback, like for that system, than Anthony Richardson. And what did we say about Anthony? Oh, he's hurt. He's already hurt, and it's supposed to be his year. Hey, I mean, C-Mac might have something to say about that if he comes back healthy or whatever. You know, I don't know who else was really injury. If Daniel Jones gets comeback player of the year and he ends up potentially winning the AFC South or getting being a playoff team, and Aaron Rodgers is not, I don't want to hear no more about no Aaron Rodgers, man. I'm just saying. All right, Daniel Jones, we'll see what you can do down there with Indy. He definitely got a great running back. Definitely got a nice little team around him, so we'll see.
Well, Ben, with minicamp getting underway here last week and this week, just wanted to really quickly, let's just talk about our thoughts on all 32 teams in the league. And I'm going to go through this really quickly, maybe on kind of rookies and veterans from teams or rumors that we're hearing from the team. So I'll start with the AFC East. I'm just going to go very quickly. You don't even have to comment on everything. You can tell me if whatever sticks out to you, and then I'll move on. We're gonna do this quick. Buffalo Bills. I'm looking at James Cook, obviously with the contract. Will he sign a new deal? Will he hold out? Obviously Cook is not C-Mac, Saquon Barkley. He's not in that tier. I think he's a step below that. But someone that will he make things tough for the Bills after they paid Josh Allen all that money and so on and so forth. For Miami, I've got Jalen Ramsey, who is currently on the trading block, and assuming he gets traded very soon. What's this defense in Miami going to look like? For the Jets, you got Derek Wilson, but outside of him, who is going to be that next guy to step up for the Jets at receiver outside of Garrett Wilson and Justin Fields? Because we know Justin Fields is looking to prove himself on his third team in 2 years. And then or third team in 3 years, I should say. And then the Patriots, who's Drake May throw into? I know they've got Stephon Diggs, but he's old. And
I think they got Matt Collins.
Matt Collins, Demario Douglas, Kyle Williams is a rookie from Washington State. Kayshon Boutte from LSU.
Oh, yeah.
So, okay. So, yeah, that's the AFC East. Any thoughts on any of those?
James Cook is not C-Mac. James Cook, but for his team, he is, because he means a lot. And look, man, I want my money. I mean, I did my thing. What's up? I'm a 2-time Pro Bowler. I want my money. I think Jalen Ramsey don't want to be a Dolphin no more than Tyreek Hill want to be a Dolphin. I think he just wants to move on. I think he respects Mike McDaniel. I don't think he likes Mike McDaniel. So why you still got trade equity? I think you definitely trade him. As far as Justin Fields, and I just want Justin Fields to go out there and play football, man. I get it. 3 teams in 3 years, man. Go out there and play football. Justin, you were not the problem in Chicago, though. Wasn't you? It was not you. Go to the Jets. Let go of what happened in Pittsburgh. Let go of what happened out with Chicago. Go do your thing. And as far as Drake May, I know he's saying he's finding his stride. I don't know who he's gonna throw to either, because them boys be out there. I said, let me see the name on the back of the jersey. I don't know none of these dudes. And Matt Collins, the only reason why he wear cleats is because he's contractually obligated to. The man do not like wearing shoes. So, hey man, we'll see. But yeah, I mean, it's New England.
All right, AFC North. Baltimore, they seem to be sitting pretty. The only thing I can really think of is offensive line, maybe one of the center or guard spots with Tyler Linderbaum coming up on his fifth-year option, and maybe one of the guards that I don't really know their names. Maybe I'm not as well versed in the Baltimore Ravens world of things. Cincinnati is Trey Hendrickson, obviously about him showing up. Steelers, TJ Watt, we obviously talked about that a little bit too. And then for Cleveland, who stands out in this four-way quarterback competition? Deshaun Watson, I'm not counting. He's going to be out for the whole year, and obviously won't be playing for the Cleveland ever again.
What was Baltimore's kicker name they let go?
Justin Tucker.
The fact that Justin Tucker got let go and he was one of the best kickers of all time, and it hasn't been a dark cloud of the Ravens. That's called a great organization, man. We ain't talking about no.
Yeah,
we've already talked about it nauseum. Pittsburgh and Cincinnati, they got their big three on offense, but that ain't gonna be much. There's gonna be much to do about nothing. Shedeur Sanders is the most talked about 5th round draft pick I've ever seen in my freaking life. I've never seen a 5th round pick who has Joe Flacco, Deshaun Watson, Kenny Pickett, and Dylan Gabriel supposed to be over him, and they only talk about Shedeur. Right? They talk about Shedeur. So Shedeur's gonna make the team. For everybody, he ain't gonna make it. Yes, he is. Oh, he's gonna make the team.
There's this guy named Jimmy Haslam who wants him there, the owner, I think.
And here's the thing, right? All that stuff ain't gonna matter. I think Joe Flacco gonna end up being the starter. Deshaun Watson gonna be on the pup list. Kenny Pickett's gonna get cut, and Dylan Gabriel's gonna be number 3. That's what I think is gonna happen. Joe Flacco starts, Kenny Pickett gets cut, Deshaun Watson on the pup list, Dylan Gabriel's number 3, Shedeur Sanders number 2. So, but why would I start Joe Flacco? Because Joe Flacco is 40 years old and he ain't gonna make 17 games. His body. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Shedeur and Dylan Gabriel do. I think it's going to be a great story, real similar to RG3 and the Kirk Cousins, even though Dylan Gabriel being the top. And guess what? The top pick end up not playing, and the backup Kirk Cousins still in the league. RG3 over there arguing with Ryan Clark and whoever he argued, Stephen A. Whoever he's arguing with today. He got on somebody's nerves there. I don't know. Yeah, I am looking forward to seeing Shedeur Sanders go out there and compete.
Yeah. AFC South is about the quarterbacks, except for Jacksonville. CJ Stroud, will he throw? Indianapolis, Anthony Richardson, when does he come back? Does Daniel Jones win that battle? Titans, are we serious about Cam Ward and Will Levis splitting reps? I mean, let's be honest. Will Levis commented and said, anybody who's been in my position knows how much it sucks. That was his quote. And then Jacksonville Jaguars, how much work will Travis Hunter get? Offense, defense, how are they going to be doing this as they approach training camp? So AFC South.
Yeah, I mean, listen. Nobody. I mean, I'm interested to see how Trevor Lawrence looks. With the Jags this year. I mean, I'm looking to see Travis Hunter. Offense and defense. I appreciate Liam Cohen actually allowing the young man to do both. We've already talked about the Houston Texans ad nauseum. Anthony Richardson, man. You should be nervous, youngin, because Daniel Jones was coming for you. Either you was healthy. He said, I'm coming for you. And Will Levis, I don't get it. You talk about have seen enough of one player. I have seen it, and I don't want to hear about that Monday night game against the Dolphins. It's the freaking Dolphins. No. Will saying things like it sucks. No, it sucks because you had the number 1 pick. Will, you were the number 1 pick in the draft. They got a quarterback. Who you think is gonna start? Will, you're gonna go out there first, and you're gonna do what you do, and then here he comes. So yeah, it sucks. No, it sucks. How you been? I'm not gonna say you. I don't do that. You suck stuff, but it sucks to watch you do some of the things you've done the last couple of years. And you're the reason why Rand Carthon is no longer there.
Ben's preaching on this.
I'm just saying. Let me
this, boys and girls.
Hey, I'm rooting for Cam Ward. We'll see what happens. I'm rooting for Cam Ward.
All right, we better get to the AFC West before Ben says something he's going to regret. Denver Broncos. Denver Broncos, the running back battle. You got Javonte Williams, former Carolina Tar Heel, Audrey Estime for Notre Dame going into his second year. RJ Harvey, second round rookie running back. So Kansas City, that running back room. Las Vegas, I'm looking at Geno Smith and how he's going to perform with his new coach, Pete Carroll. Offensive line for Justin Herbert's what I'm looking at in LA. And then the Chiefs, I'm looking squarely at Josh Simmons, rookie left tackle from The Ohio State University, along with Jalen Moore, who was a backup to Trent Williams in San Francisco, who did perform well when Trent Williams was not there. But full-time starter, that's a little bit of a stretch.
Listen, Denver Broncos easy, man. I want to see second year Bo Nix. First year, rookie Bo Nix was outstanding. If Jaden Daniels is not the quarterback for Washington, that is your offensive rookie of the year in Bo Nix. I thought that him and Sean Payton was able to have, match made in heaven. So, hey, man, Russell Wilson, maybe you were the problem. Because same coach, different quarterback, different result. And Evan Ingram and Noah Fant are the two tight ends for the Denver Broncos, so they definitely got two weapons. Yeah, that's the same Evan Ingram that caught over 100 passes for the Jacksonville Jaguars, who let him go a couple of years after that. Kansas City, I agree. It's about the left tackle. It's about the whole offensive line. Because no one's going to – guess what? No one's going to care about y'all regular season anymore. They're going to say, postseason, can y'all block anybody? And I know that Patrick Mahomes got a new dude, but we'll see what happens with that. Las Vegas. Can Vegas show some life, show some fight? And I know Pete Carroll is the most energetic 70-something-year-old man. I'm not really talking about his age. He just had a lot of energy. Gino understands what he's trying to build. Ashton Genty is going to be running the rock. Brock Bowers cannot be covered. We will see what the Silver Black does. Justin Herbert. Y'all going to have to start proving people right with all this talent that y'all got, because you talk about – no one talks about how underwhelming
this is a big
year.
The
Chargers are underwhelming. Big year.
Justin Herbert.
Yeah, it is. I mean, Harbaugh back in the NFL, playing really, really good defense. They obviously got to, getting the running back in the first round out of North Carolina. We know you're going to try to run the rock. Can y'all look like contenders for 18 weeks and not look like contenders one week and look like pretenders in other weeks? We'll see. But hey, man, but they started off the year right? First game of the year, right? Chargers, Chiefs,
yep.
Derwin James, Travis Kelce. Let's see.
All right, let's knock out the NFC here quickly. NFC East. Micah Parsons, Jerry does this with Dak and CD. They got their money. Micah Parsons, let's see what happens with Jerry as he slow balls one of the best defensive players in football. The Eagles, they're coming off a Super Bowl. They're the defending champs. I want to see some of these new players. There's this new draft picks that they've got. How do they mesh and somehow still look better than they did the year before, even though they're already really good? Commanders, I'm looking at Marshawn Lattimore, formerly of the Saints in our division here in the NFC South, and he had some antics down in New Orleans. That's partly why they shipped him out of Washington. Talented player, had some antics. Didn't do a lot in his half a season with the Commanders, so looking to see what he does. And then the Giants, is all about the quarterback. Jackson Dart, Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston. I don't think Jameis is going to start. I think Russell is going to start ultimately to start the year. Jackson Dart, when will he come in? And then when he comes, and then let's be honest, Tommy DeVito's the other guy on there who's he had a good story, but he's there for the publicity at this point. When does Brian Daboll want to save his job? On June 16th, week of June 16th, we are talking about this for the New York Giants.
Yeah, I mean, look, let's just go from worst to first. I mean, it's just easy that way. Listen, New York Football Giants, y'all got an incredible defensive line if y'all can put it together. I mean, you talking about Kayvon Thibodeau. I mean, you talking about Abdul Carter. I mean, you talk about Brian Burns, you talk about Dexter Lawrence. You guys got a shot to be really, really good on defense, right? The sooner Jackson Dart can start playing, the sooner y'all can let go of 2025. It's going to be a long year for the G-Man. Dallas Cowboys. I want to see George Pickens. I want to see CeeDee Lamb. I want to see Dak. I want to see Micah Parsons, right? But in the first game of the year, they get to dash dreams. They get to say, look, Let's go ahead and put y'all out there against them boys in Philly. Let y'all know perception will not be reality. I want to see year 2 of Jaden Daniels. Year 1 was outstanding. The young man walked out of LSU. He walked out of Baton Rouge, got out the plane in D.C. and was doing his thing. Scary Terry Lauren. Zach Ertz still out there trying to make plays. I want to see how, he handles success now. You ain't. Everybody knows you on everybody's radar. I want to see it. But guess what? It starts and ends in Philly. Philly got the best front office. Philly got the best team. Philly definitely got the best running back. I think they got the second best quarterback in football. I think they got the best culture in football, and they get to lower them banners week 1 against Dallas. Them boys in green, the Jihad Campbell, they got him at pick 31 out of Alabama. They add Ojulari. You talk about Nakobe Dean. You talk about Jalen Carter, who might be the best interior defensive lineman in the National Football League. A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, man, pick your freaking poison. Really. So, Philly, man. Howie Roseman, general manager, he is literally playing chess. Well, everybody, who do I say? They got everybody under contract. And if they under the contract, they under rookie deals. That's the scary part. Some of their best players, rookie deals. Quinyon Mitchell, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, just name them under rookie. Jalen Carter. So,
NFC North, Chicago and the Lions both had their mini camps already, and the Lions canceled the rest of theirs. But I'll say for myself, Caleb Williams, how does he look coming into this year with Ben Johnson, first-year head coach? Lions, I want to see Aiden Hutchinson come back in rare form and do his thing on the defensive side of the ball. And can injuries not be in the henhouse for the Lions? The Vikings, it's all about J.J. McCarthy. We don't know how he's going to perform and what he's going to be like as a first-year starting quarterback, because last year was his rookie year and he was injured. And then the Packers, I've got Jordan freaking Love. How is he going to if Dan Orlovsky watches this podcast, he will tell me that he did not regress. Dan, I agree with you. He did not regress. You're right. But he also could have performed a lot better. And I want to see Jordan Love perform better for the Packers and take another step in Matt LaFleur's offense.
Detroit is the class of the NFC North. I don't care what anybody says right now. I can appreciate what Coach Dan Campbell is building up there with Amon St. Brown. They was able to do what they did without Aiden Hudson. That's how good they were. Their best defensive player wasn't there. They were still really, really good in the NFC North. Jordan Love, they could be golden. That would be Matt Golden. You finally listen. Josh Jacobs came out and said, "We got some good receivers. We just ain't got nobody to scare nobody. We ain't got nobody that can go over the top." Right, wrong, and he ain't wrong. Excuse me. He ain't right for that, but he ain't wrong for saying it. I don't think he should have said it in public, but I can't appreciate his honesty. When you get to talking about this entire division, top to bottom, everybody want to talk about Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson. We gonna see if Caleb Williams is the problem, though. They gave him one of the best guards from Kansas City. They get the center, right? From Atlanta.
Yep.
From the Falcons. They give you a tight end out of Michigan, coaching, first round. You talk about what you bringing back on offense. You talk about Swift and company. You talk about that defense, and it's gonna be all about Caleb. Caleb, if you got a book or something coming out saying you didn't want to be a Chicago Bear, don't put that book out. Really?
Well, he has no control over that. Seth Wickersham is putting the book out.
I'm just saying. We got to do better when it comes to things like that. And Minnesota, y'all quarterback missed the whole year. Great team around him. Jordan Addison, T.J. Hockenson, Justin Jefferson. You guys are really, really good defense. His rookie year will be this year. His rookie year is this year. So we got to see how he would have looked last year, this year. So, I'm looking forward to seeing it. But I do think Minnesota's going to take a huge step back with a quarterback who's going to make his rookie mistakes his second year because he was hurt his rookie year. So we'll see with that.
All right. Everyone's favorite division, just kidding, the NFC South. Will Kirk Cousins be in attendance for the Falcons? And will he ultimately be on the Falcons halfway through the year? I think, depending on how Michael Penix looks, I think the question will be answered. First time we get somebody who in training camp tweaks a knee, tears an ACL, God forbid, anyone tear an ACL. But, the quarterback position is funky. Things happen, and we have throwing shoulders in Indianapolis and Houston and other places. Well, Kirk Cousins, because he can squash a trade that he don't like. He's got the no trade clause. So where is Kirk Cousins playing in 2025? I still think it's behind Michael Penix in Atlanta. But, does Kirk Cousins raise a stink at some point and try to get himself shipped out to a place that he wants, because he can veto anything he does not want. New Orleans also about the quarterback battle, because there's nobody on that roster that has zero goose egg experience. Spencer Rattler, Tyler Shuck, the rookie. Spencer Rattler is a second-year player. Jake Hayner. Let's be honest, Jake Hayner's going to be third string. But Tampa Bay, I've got the wide receiver corps with Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Emeka Egbuka, the rookie from Ohio State. But specifically Chris Evans. We know what Mike Evans can do, but Chris Godwin, can he stay healthy? I mean, he is a Robin to Batman of Mike Evans. Excellent tandem for the Bucs. Can he stay healthy? And then the Carolina Panthers is Bryce Young taking that next step with Ted McMillan, the rookie receiver, Xavier Leggett, second-year receiver, and the rest of this offense. And then kind of a 1B for Carolina is also Derek Brown coming back, and that defense just being anything better than last year.
Will Kirk Cousins be in Atlanta Falcons in 2025? Yes. Will he be there the whole year? Only time will tell. I mean, I do think that somebody, not Kirk Cousins, but somebody is, because Kirk Cousins was very highly sought after, because people thought they would be able to put, make a trade for him, but obviously that didn't surface. But I do think he'll be a Falcon starting the year. It makes Terry Fontenot look like he actually knows what he's doing, even though he gave him $100 million guarantee. Anyway, I do think he'll be on the Falcons, starting the year. When you talk about the Tampa Bay Bucs got the best culture right now in the NFC South. I mean, Todd Bowles got a real good thing going. They add another receiver to Baker Mayfield. You know what they're going to look like on offense. That defense is going to be a head scratcher when you start talking about Tampa Bay. They got good players, not great players. They don't scare nobody on the defense. I know they got Antoine Winfield Jr. out there roaming the airways at the safety position. But these aren't the Tampa Bay Bucs of old. But they do got the best culture. They know how to win. The Saints are the Saints. Like, the Saints, they blundered this draft. They blundered this offseason. Now, they did not – if they say they did not see Derek Carr return, they're not telling the truth. The medical staff been talking to them about Derek Carr, and it showed in all these different things. So the Saints are the Saints, definitely one of the oldest, if not the oldest team, not just in the NFC South, but in the NFL, period. Excuse me. The Saints are going to be really, really bad, which leads me to your Panthers. Bryce Young stays healthy. They have a healthy running game, and I'm talking about like a healthy dose of 50. Is it 60-40? Is it what I'm saying? Is it 65-35 of the running game? Derek Brown is healthy. I know about Prince and UM. I cannot say Prince's last name. He used to play for Florida, then played for Ole Miss. Princely, you the man. I can't say it. When he was on my show, I couldn't even. I got every time I say his first name, I said you got to say your last name.
Princely Umielen.
Listen, I guess Umielen. That's close as I would have got.
My announcer.
I will say this. You guys might not have the best players top to bottom. I think you got the best team top to bottom, because y'all match up well everywhere. I know we talked about Hunter Renfrow. Can he get back to playing? Xavier Leggett, Adam Thielen, who might be a camp casualty, even though we'll see if it's Hunter Renfrow. You talk about Horn. You talking about Ted McMillan. You talk about the running game. You talk about J.C. Horn. I just think that this Panthers team, they sick and tired of being just bottom feeders. They're like, man, bump that, because it's not like Tampa can't be beat.
Nope.
Who even play for the Saints? At quarterback, Spencer Rattler, boo, and that's at home in New Orleans. I'm just saying, I think that this Panthers team is built to win the South, and that's all you got to be. I don't care who you play out the division. I don't care who you meet in the playoffs. Can you win this division. I think Carolina can. And let me tell you what people don't want. Not only is the NFC South not ready for a healthy Bryce, they ain't ready for a confident one. And if he's building confidence, that ain't good for my Falcons. That ain't good for Tampa, and ain't nobody good for the Saints this year. It don't matter who they play. I'm just saying.
And then let's wrap things up with the NFC West. Big year for Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr. after he was underwhelming, in my opinion, as a rookie. Sam Darnold, how is he looking in Seattle, and how is he going to be coming off replacing Geno Smith there in the Pacific Northwest? The Niners, I'm going to stay away from C-Mac. The Niners defense is where I'm going. Robert Saleh back in the Bay as the defensive coordinator. Nick Bosa is back, yes, but they have Alfred Collins, new starter. Micah Williams, new starter. Just traded for Bryce Huff, new starter. And another guy that I'm blanking on his name, former Panther Yetur Gross-Matos in year 2 out there with them as another depth piece at defensive line. Just new pieces all over this place for San Francisco and how they're going to mesh. And then the Rams, it's not Stafford. It's this running back room. I mean, Blake Corum, he's good. He saw almost no snaps last year. Kyron Williams, he's good enough to be paid a contract extension. Jarquez Hunter, the rookie 4th-round pick who will get playing time. He is dynamic. What is the running back room going to look like there in Los Angeles?
Whew. Kyler Murray is I don't know if Kyler Murray, how many more years Kyler Murray got left in Arizona, not because he don't got good football left in him. I just think that it just ain't there. He's been through 2 or 3 coaches right now. I mean, I do think Marvin Harrison Jr. was underwhelming. I think he's going to have a bounce back year. Arizona's going to play inspired football. It's not going to matter. It's really not going to matter. I think that these Seattle Seahawks with a guy like Sam Darnold is showing that, look, man, I'm not a one-trick pony. I understand that I was in Minnesota last year, but I know what it takes to win. And now I don't know who he's going to throw to. I mean, I know one guy he's going to throw to. But everybody else is gone. Everybody. They got rid of everybody, right? Anybody of significance on that offense they got rid of. But I do think that Coach McDonald going to have those guys playing inspired football. I think they're going to be guys, and they understand this division. They understand how to win in this division at 12th man. We'll see how much of a factor that's going to be. San Francisco. Brock Purdy got his money. George Kittle got his money. Right? I just think, Fred Warner, they could have gave him a blank check. The young man is just the way he played it. I never thought I would see a Luke Kuechly style running quarterback. Linebacker again. This dude is all over the field. Jadarius Ward, gone. Right? Deebo Samuel, gone. They want to see what Ricky Pearsall is going to do. They bring back their fullback. Sam Purdy is a good quarterback, not a great quarterback. He has great moments. He's not a great player, and no matter and I know he got his money based off what he's done. He is the greatest Mr. Irrelevant in the National Football League, bar none. But I'm like you, Smitty. I got to see it. Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch. This better work, because if it don't, both of y'all gonna be gone. They're gonna get rid of John, and they're gonna get rid of Kyle, because they're gonna say, dude, we just don't see this being a match. But I think the class of the NFC West is in Los Angeles. I do think it's Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford, did you call Myles Garrett and say, man, what is it like to just go out there when you know you're coming back to the same team? Matthew, you knew you was coming back to LA, because you and Sean McVay, y'all got something going, right? Puka Nacua is the reason why Cooper Kupp is gone. But they added Devontae, Tutu Atwell, and you talk about them running backs. Gerard Verse, I know he was NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year. He said he could play better. I just think, Smitty, they're the only team as of recent that have a Super Bowl, right? They've been to 2, won 1, lost 1. San Francisco been to 2, lost both of them. Got the same quarterback. Matthew Stafford, to me, is the best quarterback in that division. I think Brock Purdy is a good quarterback. I think Kyler Murray is serviceable. But I just think that when I look at this division top to bottom, and I think it is Matthew Stafford and company, and I think Matthew Stafford coming back with a vengeance. But Matthew Stafford, you know what you got to show me this year? Can you finally go to Detroit and get a win? Because you haven't got a win since you left. Every time you went up against, Jared Goff, you ain't really get it done. But yeah, I do think it's going to be Matthew Stafford and company. coming out of that division this year.
All right. Well, as we wrap up here on episode number 45, that was our mini camp storylines and kind of and more or less training camp storylines as well, really. Let me go to really quickly, Ben. I warned you about this beforehand. So I saw this today. Number of head coaches in the NFL for every team in the NFL. Who do you think has the least amount with 3 and the most with 21?
Well, that's easy. I know who got the least. That's Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, they had 3 in their whole existence.
Well, including interims, they have 4.
And if number 1 ain't Cleveland, I don't know who. Cleveland. At one point, Cleveland they was getting a new head coach, like they was getting a new quarterback every year.
So, it is Cleveland for 21 total head coaches. Absolutely ridiculous. But Pittsburgh actually has 4 coaches if you count the interims. So the answer with 3 is the Baltimore Ravens.
Really?
Brian Harbaugh, Brian Billick before John Harbaugh, and then Ted Marchibrola, 1996 to 1998.
And you know what? That do make sense because they've only been in existence since 1996 when they drafted Jonathan Ogden, the first overall pick, and Ray Lewis, the second number 1 overall in that same draft. But you know what? And you see what happens when you see what happens when you don't have a lot of head coaches. Have good players, right? Because you can play like a Raven. So you know what? Pittsburgh, tired of giving y'all love. It is the Baltimore Ravens.
Yep, the Pittsburgh Steelers are second least with 4, Texans with 8, but that's more about because they're obviously a newer team. Seahawks with 9, and then a bunch of people, including the Panthers and Jaguars, at 10 because, again, those are newer franchises, obviously, but Vikings, Cowboys, and the Bengals also at 10. So all those teams are at 10. Then you jump to 12, et cetera, et cetera. Yes. Guess who has 20 after after Cleveland? These 3 teams all have the second most head coaches since the Super Bowl started. That would be the Colts, the Raiders, and the Jets, all with 20.
Well, now the Colts is a bit of a head scratcher because they had Peyton Manning for like 14 years. The Raiders, I get it. I was out there with the Raiders in 2008 when they had Lane Kiffin. They let Lane Kiffin go after 8 games, and that was Mr. Davis, Al Davis, and then Tom Cable became. And then you go, then you start going on this John Gruden. What's Hugh last name? I can't remember Coach Hugh last name, but you go on this head coach carousel where you say, how can we build any level of continuity? How can we build any level of consistency? We got new head coach every year. I don't know.
I just thought of this because we were talking about quarterbacks and we were going obviously through all the teams and okay. Play this out for me. We talk about quarterbacks having a good year, and we could talk about Bryce Young, Michael Penix, and the rookies, whatever. These are 2 guys. You already mentioned one, and I think I agree with you on him. I just don't think – I don't want to say these 2 guys are going to be released or cut or traded after this year if things don't go well, but – it's time for these 2 gentlemen to step up. And Justin Herbert is probably number 3 on this list behind these 2 gentlemen, but that's not who I was going to say. Kyler Murray, who you said already, and Trevor Lawrence. Those 2 gentlemen have if I had to say which 2 quarterbacks have the biggest question marks heading into this year and kind of need a big year to kind of revive their fan base's loyalty in them and kind of what they're doing. And that would be Justin Herbert. I'll say 3 then. Justin Herbert, Kyler Murray, and Trevor Lawrence. Agree or disagree?
I agree. I think Justin Herbert is at the top. Here's why. Justin Herbert doesn't get enough flack. Justin Herbert Justin Herbert made a playoff game a couple of years ago. They went to Jacksonville. They lost.
Ironically against Trevor Lawrence, yes.
Trevor Lawrence had 5 picks. 3 of them, 3 or 4 of them, I think went to Asante Samuel Jr. They ended up losing the game. Justin Herbert, he's always going to have a good offense. Mike Williams, a former left, came back, so he got it back in the building. Incredible defense, right? No Joey Bosa, but they still got Khalil Mack. They still got Derwin James. They still got an incredible front seven. They still got an incredible back end. Justin Herbert is going through a culture shock because he can't beat Kansas City. Now he can't even beat Denver, not consistently. So the only team he's beat consistently is Vegas. He only beaten the Raiders. He can't beat Denver consistently, and ain't nobody beating Kansas City. Trevor Lawrence makes the same amount of money as Josh Allen. I'm gonna say that again. Trevor Lawrence makes the same amount of money as Josh Allen. Why is that significant? Josh Allen just came off an MVP season. The Jaguars will go as Trevor Lawrence goes. I don't know what's wrong with Trevor Lawrence. I really, really don't. I really, really don't. But he's going to have to get together. Kyler Murray is playing for his NFL future outside of Arizona. I don't think he's going to be in Arizona much longer. Smitty, I like Kyler Murray, but Kyler Murray is really, really good the first half of the season. Yes. But Kyler Murray doesn't take care of the football. He gets real loose with the football, and Kyler Murray plays football like this, like Ben Roethlisberger did, like Phillip Rivers did, like Eli Manning did. What do all those guys have in common? Yeah, no matter what they did, they wasn't going to get benched. They're not going to get benched. Kyler Murray knows I'm not going to get benched, and sometimes that's not good. So I do think Kyler Murray is under a lot of scrutiny. I know he did like a commercial or something, or something he did online talking about people want to say I'm not that good of a player. I was offensive rookie of the year. I was this and the third. I was that. No one cares, man. That's numbers. Yeah, the only number that counts is wins. How many wins you got? Well, okay. And if you are Trevor Lawrence, it's embarrassing that y'all ain't even competing in the AFC South. Y'all ain't even competing. That's all on Trevor Lawrence and Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert's going to get a rude awakening in week 1, just like Dak Prescott is in the Cowboys, because of who they're playing against. The best quarterback in football plays in Kansas City. The best team in football plays in Philly. If you want to be considered one of the best players, you got to beat the best player and the best team on the biggest stage. Justin Herbert won't do it. It ain't happening. And look, Justin Herbert looks just like the best quarterback. Well, some people say Dan Fouts might be the best Chargers quarterback of all time because he won MVPs or whatever. I would say Justin Herbert don't like the fact he got huge shoes to fill with Dan Fouts or Phillip Rivers. What did Phillip Rivers do? Boy, he padded that stat sheet. He was a box score beat. Shot the class 2004 NC State, boy. What did Justin Herbert never do? The same thing Phillip Rivers never do. They ain't winning no AFC championships. They ain't going to no Super Bowl. I mean, Justin Herbert ain't even make out the first round. So I like that. I would add one. For me, it's Lamar. Because at this point, Smitty, you look at what Jalen Hurts is doing. And how he's doing it on a consistent level. How you can look at it, think about it, Smitty. We talked earlier, we said, well, a lot of people look at Jalen Hurts, the team around him. Have you seen the team around freaking Lamar Jackson? Have you seen them? Huh?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, so I think it's Lamar slash right, wrong, indifferent, Joe Burrow. No, you give me 3. You gave me 3. I'm gonna give you 3. I'm gonna go Lamar. I'm gonna go Josh Allen, and I'm gonna go Joe Burrow because those were supposed to be the eventual faces, and in a sense, they are kind of the face of the NFL. Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, but it ain't because but it's because of stardom, not because of wins, and it's not because of winning Super Bowls. So I'm gonna go Lamar. I'm gonna go Joe Burrow. I'm gonna go Josh Allen. They're gonna have to step up. And people saying stuff like, well, Ben, what about Jaden Daniels? What about him? What about Bo Nix? What about him? You know what I'm saying? I don't think those guys. What about Aaron Rodgers? Stop it. I don't want to hear that.
Yeah. And then finally, I have to give a shout out for those who may have heard on the radio. I want to just give a shout out. So Ben, you know this, but all the listeners may not know this. I was at an event this week called the Soccer Tournament, TST, better known here in Cary, North Carolina. For those who aren't familiar with it, it's essentially soccer with a lot of twists to it. 7-on-7, all the way down to 2-on-2 in what they call target score time, meaning basically every game doesn't end 0-0. Someone has to score to win. Did a lot of networking, did a lot of things there, and I just wanted to give a shout out to TST for the event that they put on. It was an incredible event. Pat McAfee show was live there for 2 days. Got to see some of those guys, Darius Butler of the world, Pat McAfee of the world. U.S. women's soccer legends were there. Carly Lloyd, Hope Solo, Ali Kruger, Heather O'Reilly. The NBA legend himself, former Wake Forest guard, Chris Paul was there. So many people in the building there at TST. So I just wanted to give TST a shout out for this week, allowing me to do some announcing there and being able to get some networking and things there. So I want to just give the shout out to TST in case any of them ever listen to this podcast and just shouting them out. Josie Altshore, another soccer great, was also there as well.
Man, Smitty being modest. Smitty was the man. You talking about Hope Solo? You talking about? He ain't talking. He ain't even telling you about the fact. Pat McAfee a couple of years. You know what I'm saying? What's the cornerback name?
Darius Butler.
Jeremy Stevens, Hope Solo's husband. Chris Paul, brother. Smitty was him. But I want to address something before we get out of here too, because I always have to. Over the weekend, it was the French Open. Coco Gauff, she defeated, Arina, Sabalenka. Great match. I want to address something. Arina Sabalenka said after the match, it's not because Coco played well, I just played bad. It's not that she did incredible. I just played bad. Let me tell y'all something. Doesn't that happen every time one person wins, another person loses? I forced first error. I played good enough. You played listen. I'm not saying Miss Sabalenka. I'm not saying that she's a loser. She has a loser mentality. You just lost. So now it ain't nothing she did incredible now. It's just that I had to force it. Who forced those errors, Coco? I'm just telling y'all, when you were on the biggest stage, whether you want to or not, whether that's how you really feel or not, be humble in defeat. Because Coco just 21 years old. She ain't going nowhere. You're going to see her again. And Coco handled it with class. I'm just telling y'all, because there was major news about that. It ain't nothing she did. It's what I didn't do. I didn't win because I lost. Who you lost to? Coco, the French Open champion. Stop the madness. Just wanted to make sure. But Smitty, man, congratulations, man. I saw doing the rounds down there. Next time we're gonna have to send a film crew with Smitty. That way he can document all these things, Hope and Jeremy Stevens and Chris Paul, the Chris Paul brother, you know what I'm saying, the Pat McAfee and all these different ones, And that's just the ones Smitty's had time to. He said, I didn't have time to talk to everybody. You know what I'm saying? So next year he saw JJ Watt, you know what I'm saying, one time. He's just making the rounds. Pat McAfee, hey Pat, remember I'm the one that talked to you about the Carolina Panthers. Oh yeah, what's up? I think I like Bryce Young. That's all. All right,
Pat McAfee, if you happen to listen to this podcast, winning the division is where it's at. I'd love to have you on the show, sir, sometime in the future. Well, everyone, that is going to wrap it up here for episode 45 of Winning the Division. RSS, rate, review, subscribe, wherever you get your podcasts. Let us know in the comments how we're doing, what you guys want to hear, what you guys want us to talk about. I'm going to try to fire up a mailbag here in the next few episodes as we continue to get into the slow burns of the summer and answer listener questions and people just kind of what you guys want to know about. But proud to continue to be doing this with Ben and the awesome co-host he is. And just remember, as we say here at Winning the Division, you are either winning the division, which there are a lot of only one team can every year, or like the Cleveland Browns, you're just in the division. and you've got 21 head coaches over a long period of time and a bunch of quarterbacks as well. And, well, Brown fans, I will say, we love you, and we Lion fans see you and know that brighter days.
Yeah, a lot of fans seeing y'all like this. Like, where they at? I used to see y'all right in front of my face. Now it's like, what?
Brighter days are coming, Cleveland fans. The Detroit Lion fans can tell you that for themselves. But for Ben Troupe, I am Ryan Smith. This is Winning the Division, episode number 45. We will see you guys next time.